What's going on, traders? Sandra O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is July 12th, 2021. Please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today, we're going to talk about the price action in the headline indices. We'll go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors. We'll talk about some of my trades for the day, and we will wrap up some options order flow. Before we jump into all that, quick risk disclaimer, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan, your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump into it here. So let's see, today, another interesting day in the markets. S&P 500 hits a new all-time high. So you can see for our box scores, we had S&P 500 as measured by the SPY, up 0.36%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 0.39%. We had the IWM small caps actually finish positive, up 0.08%. They were negative for most of the day. And we had the Dow Jones close up 0.37%. So you can see here with the S&P 500, we've officially broken out of this 5-day range that we were stuck in for the past week. And now we are, completely in new high territory. At this point, we're a little extended from that 5-day EMA, and we are really getting extended off of that 20-day simple moving average. Let's jump over to our NASDAQ, because the S&P 500, this is pretty much, blue skies ahead here into options expiration. Another thing to keep in mind is we do have earnings season, which is getting kicked off really tomorrow with a lot of the banks and financial services companies reporting. Tomorrow we have Goldman Sachs, we have JP Morgan Chase, and then on the industrial side we also have Fastenal. Let's take a look. NASDAQ finished up 0.45% as measured by this NQ. And the NASDAQ, very similar pattern where we were consolidating for a couple days and now we are pushing out. And we do have this R2 pivot level ahead of us that is pretty much right at 15,000 on the NASDAQ. But yeah, this one as well, a little bit extended from that 5-day EMA. Let's check out our Russell. And this one is interesting because this one really was, the worst performer for most of the day. And it really looked like, okay, the Russell is rejecting at this monthly value area low here. But you can see we closed inside of value. So you can see this is definitely the weakest of the indices. But now that we closed inside of value, you could always trade this one long and put your stop, on a close below this monthly value area. So in terms of, a risk reward setup, IWM actually looks pretty decent here. Let's take a look at our Dow Jones. I had just gotten long some Dow Jones calls last Friday. And yeah, you can see nice clean breakout here for the Dow. So we closed up 0.42%. Another thing to keep in mind is we're going to have inflation data that's coming out tomorrow before the market open. So definitely be ready for that. Be prepared, because depending on how that data point goes, we could have a really nice day for growth stocks. We could have a really nice day for value. Or, if it's really far above expectations, we could have, just a little bit of volatility as well. We have the Dow Jones breaking out here. And you can see the prior all-time intraday high was right here at 35K for the Dow. But in terms of a closing high, we did make a new all-time closing high here. So this one is a breakout that looks like, could just be getting started here. So I'm still long the Dow Jones via those calls. All right, let's jump over here. We'll go a little bit deeper. Let's take a look at our market breadth. And you can see market breadth closed the day positive, but I must say that throughout the trading session, this was really jumping all over the place. So at one point in the trading session, these were all red. And at one point, it was just the Qs were green. Then it flipped over. Qs were red and Dow was green. And really just like every configuration throughout the day. But it looks like into the close, there was some buying pressure and these all flipped positive. FinViz heat map. So our best performers, we had NVIDIA, we had Tesla, and then one that has really not been a solid performer is Disney, that is really emerging here. So let's take a look at Disney. And Disney, I believe they premiered, it was the Black Widow movie over this past weekend. It did very well. And then ESPN Plus, which is owned by Disney, I believe the cost for a subscription, they're going to be raising that as well. And you can see Disney, really nice volume today. And this jumped right through this monthly value area high and had a nice breakout here. Some levels for Disney, to the upside, we do have this Virgin point of control up here at 195. That could be a target. So this was definitely a pivot where, okay, we broke out of this bearish trend. So now you can always target, this VPOC or even, the prior all-time high here up at 203.02. So that one is definitely very interesting. That one, for sure moved to the top of my watch list. And then you can see there was, mixed results in some of these other areas of the market. In terms of our sectors here, we had, so solar stocks performed very well, up 1.67%. And what else was a solid performer today? We had the capital markets ETF. Semiconductors were up 1.28%. And then in terms of some areas of the market that did not do so well, you can see this ARC Genomics fund was down 1.66%. That one was on a little bit of a tear over the past few weeks. And you can see as well KWeb and the gold miners were bringing up the rear today. For style factors, this was another one where these were bouncing around the entire day, but all of our style factors closed in the green for today's session. And you can see this momentum ETF was up 1.08%. All right, so let's take a look. We will talk about my trades for the day. And one thing that I was noticing today is even though the headline indices, were doing very well, there were a lot of areas of the market that were struggling, individual names, some that I own that were really struggling. So to me, even though I'm seeing the headline indices advance, this is becoming a more challenging environment. So I took an entry in this stock, Zuo, ticker symbol ZU0. I took this one pretty much right off the open. And it looks like this one was sort of like a false move higher at the open, pulled back to this 20-day simple moving average. But I stopped out of this one, you can see about 30 minutes after I entered it. So I stopped out. I entered this one for $17.67, and I stopped out for $17.42. And at the time, I was seeing some rotation out of growth stocks into value. So I was like, this entry just doesn't really make that much sense anymore. So I closed that one for a very tiny paper cut loss. And then I got long Dario a little bit later in the day for $20.04. Dario, this one looks pretty solid here. So we ended up closing up 8.65%. We closed inside of this monthly value area here. And Dario, this is a small cap name. So keep in mind, the small caps were the worst performer of the headline indices. And this one was up 8.65% today. There was some news that broke that this company, they do like behavioral health in terms of like employee plans and such, and they got 3 new contracts. And this company, it's very small. They don't have like a ton of revenue yet. So I think each, announcement of incremental contracts, I think it really does move the needle. So you can see nice strong action today. We pushed all the way up to this 20-day simple moving average. And you can see we did have some profit taking that took place at that level. But nonetheless, pretty nice day of price action for Dario. And then in terms of options trades here, so I got long MP. And this one is Mountain Pass. I've been noticing there's been some real strength in the rare earths ETF. And I saw that MP was having a nice move today. This is another small cap stock that is bucking the trend of the small cap weakness. And you can see we pushed right up to this pivot level here. And pretty good close, nice closing range. Not quite on the highs, but almost there. And you can see we're above this monthly value area, all that good stuff. So I want to see if we can get this move up to this 41.8 level. Another trade that I did was I stopped out of my Penn Gaming. And this is really like, as I notice, okay, I see the headline indices. They're just kind of chopping around all day. We're getting a push to new all-time highs, but I'm actually not making progress today. That to me is always a signal of like, hey, you need to make some changes, maybe stop out of something, just some of these things that are not performing up to par. And Penn Gaming is definitely one of those for me. This trade, so I had some October calls, and I put them on for, I believe it was like $9.10 a couple of weeks ago. And where is this one? Yeah, so I added these for $9.15. It closed these out for $5.45 today. So this one, they're October calls with the 80 strike. And this is one of those situations where I could really have just sat with this one and been like, well, my time horizon is later on this trade. I have, another 3 months in it. But this one is just showing no relative strength whatsoever. I would definitely put this, a lot of times when you're trading, you just have a win rate with your strategies and it's like, oh, okay, you accept XYZ win rate, whatever. I would put this trade in the category of like mistake trades that I probably shouldn't have taken in the first place. And the reason why is because I believe I entered this trade right here. I think this may have been the day. It was either here or here. And I entered this thing like as it was pushing above the 20-day simple moving average. And this thing had a very ugly close on the day that I purchased it. So that should have been the red flag. Okay, stop out of that one right there. Especially, on a close below the key moving averages. For this one, it was really just like, I think the fundamentals are good. They actually pre-announced earnings, and the earnings were above analyst estimates, and that positive news was also sold. So that's another thing, like when you own a stock and good news comes out about the company, and you're like, oh yeah, let's see what it does, and then it just gets sold off. That's another sign that something might be wrong. So that happened as well. And keep in mind, this stock, it's really just like pushing up to this monthly value area. So maybe tomorrow's the day it just like punches right through, for all I know. But it's tough to hold on to stocks when you're just hoping that that's what happens. Because this is not really something where if somebody told me like, oh, would you enter this stock today? I would say no. So for that reason, I stopped out. Whether this thing, just rips through, that was my expectation, so I'm not going to be like super surprised if it does. But yeah, this one, just glad to get this one off the books and kind of, reset from here. Those are my trades for the day. Let's jump over to some options order flow here. And we'll take a look at our TradeScape. This is via VigTech. Now this is just showing us, where the majority of the options order flow occurred during today's session. So you can see here, Amazon took in a lot of order flow, and Amazon, I do believe, closed red for the day. I see Amazon. Yeah, Amazon closed down 0.02%. A little bit of a consolidation here that we're getting as we push new highs. I am long Amazon. And you can see Tesla had a lot of options order flow. Tesla always has a ton of flow. You can see there's orders coming in for December of 2021, orders coming in for January of 2022. Yeah, more January 2022. So yeah, players are getting positioned in Tesla here. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, very nice day for Tesla. This one closed literally right on the highs. And it's basically pushing right into this pivot area. So it will be interesting to see, can Tesla push beyond this? But it does seem like this is a bit of a tougher trade here because now we're into this short-term resistance. And then if we push past that, then it's like, boom, we just have another little area of short-term resistance here as well. And then boom, one more area of short-term resistance right above. Now let's see, what else do we have? I saw there was a lot of flow for TTD, the trade desk. And this looks like a position trade. They're just looking to get long some TTD. These expire on Friday. And then these are the August calls. So let's see. TTD. This one does look very interesting here. So you can see we pushed up to this area of resistance, this pivot level, and we've been consolidating for about 2 weeks now. And look at this volume that we pushed up on. And then look at the volume dry up here. So TTD actually does look very solid. This is one that I will be looking at moving forward here. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, we have a VPOC right ahead of us at about $84. So you can always use that as an initial target level. That about does it for the options order flow today, and that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading session, and I will see you all tomorrow.